Welcome to day 105 of 100 Days of Making Comics Anthology Edition. This is a little wrap-up video in which I tell you of all the things I managed to learn in doing a 6-page comic book while finishing up on the lettering, hopefully, this weekend. Can't guarantee it. You might not even see it because you're going to have to wait for the book to come out, which I'll be sure to notify you hopefully sooner rather than later. Yeah. I can't talk today. So, life lesson number 1. If it's Friday night and you're gonna go out and you're starting to get a little old and the people you're gonna go out with turn out to be almost half your age, switch to sodas. Take it from me. Because it is 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm having my 3rd cup of coffee. I'm starting to feel normal. As in, like, I still want a blanket over my head, but I'm starting to get there. I hope they are suffering too, even though something tells me they're probably out drinking again. And they probably won't learn that lesson for another 15 years. But hey, let's get cracking with the comic, shall we? It's a small thing, but I just figured out how to put this one up, this antique. So it's a great little way to catch up and work on the comic book at the same time. So, life lesson number 2. Yeah, it's the obvious one. I finished watching some of the other fine artists doing the 100 Days of Making Comics challenge videos, and I came across Abe losing a few panels here and there for not having saved. Happens to the best of us. That being said, I have a similar situation when it comes to writing. For this particular page, I had written out the dialogue. I had gone through several revisions. It was all done, and for the life of me, I can't find it. So I started thinking, well, I guess I must have written it down on a piece of paper. But then where's the piece of paper? So I've been going through everything over here, all these stacks. I found some of them in red pencil on the original art, just at the bottom. So that's cool, but it's not all of it. And I remember it, but I remember the gist of it. I don't remember the actual thing. So I just lost an hour looking up all this, going sorting through all the paperwork, and I'm just gonna have to sit down and rewrite it. Sometimes I like just typing in a text file. Sometimes I like typing in Photoshop on the actual thing. Sometimes I'm just more coherent on paper, and then I move it over to see what space I have. Sometimes. It's whatever works. There's no one way for me. I just mix it up, I guess. So I'm gonna get started. Hello everyone. Welcome to another beautiful Sunday in my little studio here in Barcelona. I was hoping to be finishing up my day 101, if you will, video for the 100 days. But as you can hear, I've been struck down with some crazy bug, and so I'm not going to be able to go outside today. I think I'm going to have to take it easy. That said, I am definitely going to fire up Photoshop and get a couple of hours in working on the comic book. But I'm a little worried about what I'm going to do for Sketchalona, not being able to go outside. So I might just do a fun little retrospective and seeing what I have in my little video vault, so to speak. But yeah. It's true what they say. hangovers last 2 days when you get old. So here I am. This is not a hangover though. This is definitely maybe the consequences of, well, I guess it's just been a bit of a worrisome, troublesome week. And then going out was awesome, but I guess that just further beat me down, my immune system. I mean, so I was kind of asking for it. Oh well, can't have them all. It's not that bad. I've had worse hangovers and I've had worse illnesses. Like, I'm still sitting up straight. I'm not melting in my bed. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? Page 5 and 6. I do. So this is the art bitmapped and everything, so that it'll print out nicely. Even though right now on my computer screen it looks quite horribly, and I feel like I need to make some adjustments. But as said before, I'm trying to fix things first. I'm trying to finish first and then fix it. Because I am taking liberties with our deadlines that goes against the whole grain of having deadlines. But it's cool. I'm not alone. So yeah, copy the art just to have it separate in case something happens. I add a gray layer on top. So I just fill a layer with black at 50%. So that the art isn't so bright white, and so I kind of keep focus. I get distracted, so I start looking at my art and like, oh, I need to fix this. I want to do that. So this way, the art is not the focus, but the text is in the white balloons. And then I add another layer, which I call white boxy box. That's the layer for the white shapes of the balloons in the boxes. I am hand drawing the balloons. I don't like the vector-based balloons. I know they're fine and they're definitely sharp, and I don't like my balloons because they're not sharp. But at the same time, when they're too tight, like something just feels off. Like there's something about the balloons being hand drawn. I guess it's the same as for many people having hand lettering. Of course, my problem is my handwriting is so awful that I'm not going to hand letter. I'm just using the type. But one day, I will get to that point somewhere. I guess for something like that, you'd really need like a lazy mouse feature, so you get tighter lines, or just use the freaking pen tool. I hate you, pen tool. I've been following a number of the 100 Days of Making Comics people, and I've been chatting away with them, and some of them have recommended some apps that I've been installing. And of course now I'm making this video, so I can't look at it, but there's 3 apps I downloaded this morning. 2 are for meeting up with people with like-minded interests. 4. And 1 is for editing videos, and 1 is for making art on the phone. Abe Sapien recommended a couple that he uses on his desktop, so I want to see if they're also on the Mac. Yeah, so Abe recommended Infinite Painter, Medibang, and Artboard. Kelsey recommended Shapper and Meeting Room. Off the bat, started filling in my profiles, and the thing I didn't like about Shapper is that it has that whole swipe left right thing, which reminds me of like certain other social apps, and I don't like that at all. I don't want to have anything to do with those apps. However, they're very successful. You know, you can make the argument that even Facebook started like that once. Just had a quick look around, and then kind of going like, oh, wait a minute. This isn't social. This is also like networking to get jobs. So it kind of made me want to step up a little bit more and go like, oh God, I need to, if people are gonna look at my work history, there's none for art, like working for companies like they do, like the people I keep seeing pass by. There's my website with my actual art portfolio, but then that needs to be updated. So it's a fun little head trip, like little thing to think about. And then the meeting one seems a lot more super casual, like, hey, there's events by groups. You want to join our group? Here's the groups you can choose from. So that seems cool. I only found one that is specifically on illustration, but you know, I'm just gonna have to feel my way around this next coming month and see if like her, I too can maybe meet up with some people and get a little bit of feedback, like face to face. That'd be awesome. So the app that I was recommended by Chris Desatov. That's it. Taya Sweet Sketches. He also recommended Splice. Very cool. Like I'm familiar with plenty of apps on the iPhone to draw. The only one I stuck with was this charcoal drawing app because it was really nice and simple, and I don't know, like it just looked less computery, if that makes any sense. And then this one, the thing I like about this one is that it has a lot of the features of other apps like Sketchbook Pro, but the interface is more like Paper by 53. Like it's a lot more simple, and I don't have to remember too many gestures, you know. So I haven't really made drawings as much as just blending colors and just seeing what the app does. But I think I'll definitely have fun using that one. And I just paid for the pro version straight away because, you know. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing app-wise, like trying out some recommendations from fellow artists in the 100 Days of Making Comics, like how they make their comics and videos. So that's been fun. Brian Cox, Life of a Universe, Season 1. Oh God. See? Distracting. This is YouTube. Okay, just watch later. Watch later. So yeah, so page 5 and page 6. This is where things take a turn for the worse. So I've rewritten the dialogue on page 4 from memory. I do not, this is the downer with dialogue is that dialogue is something that there's always the argument to be made for inspiration, but sometimes there is such a thing as inspiration. Like the thing with like when it comes to making drawings and when it comes to writing, sometimes you just have that one line, and like that one line is particularly hard to reproduce, you know. And so the better you get, the easier that gets. But I guess with my writing, you know, like when inspiration hits, you just get these sentences and like whatnot, and it's awesome. But like now that I've lost these, it's definitely not, I'm not finding the correct wording, if that makes sense. That is way too low. So on this one, I'm not so much worried because it's really adding confirmation of the images and I'm trying to think of the images and the text as kind of music, in the sense of like, you know, like if you have a cool riff, cool melody, like to come up with lyrics for that riff doesn't necessarily mean that you have to sing along to the riff. Like you can have your own melody and complement the riff. And I, like, not being a musician, I've always found it very amazing to watch musicians come up with stuff like that. I have a lot of musicians friends back home, after all. So yeah, but with like adding text to comic books, I kind of feel like, you know, I guess like this actually reminds me of like something I came across with the my whole Matrix sequels fan edit thing, where someone pointed out like one of the things that bothered them in those sequels was that a lot of the characters are constantly telling you what you're already watching. So why bother? Like, what's the point in that? Unless it's like a confirmation or something, like an underlining. And so in a way, like adding the text to these images is interesting because you can add another layer of meaning. You can confirm what is happening, or you can just provide a different perspective that doesn't really relate to the images, but then you put those things together in your mind, and that makes comics and awesome. But I also feel like that is why I'm taking a couple of days longer than I expected this week with the 6-page comic, because you know I just am. I write, I delete, I write, I edit, I delete. I treat it like a tweet. No, cut that. All right, let's grab another cup of tea, some meal, honey, and see if we can finish up the next.
Start. 2, 1, boost ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way.
Nothing like a little quiet stroll through the gardens of the library of Catalonia.